Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. More Dead Man's Hand here as we work our way through the good factions. Today we're taking a look at the Mountain Men. I think we've visited them once before, but here kind of just taking a look at their latest incarnation here with Dead Man's Hand, with the current edition, we should say. So let's jump right in. This is a fun faction for sure. So Knife Fighter rule is in addition to the normal rules for being armed with a pistol and a hand weapon. And again, you can reference that as far as page 15 on the book is concerned, the main rule book. But they have, they're very deadly in close combat, let's put it that way. So, and one of the factions actually has 3 special rules rather than the often seen just 2. So, Lay of the Land, when considering the order of character activation, Mountain Men always count as having the initiative if there's a draw. So, situational, but nice to have that in your favor. And it's not like a once per turn or something like that. So, Suit of Stiffened Skin. Mountain Men always suffer 1 less damage when they lose in hand-to-hand, which could result in them taking no damage. So they basically have the whole faction has a defensive buff for hand-to-hand, which makes them particularly terrifying when they they all carry knives too, which we'll see with Knife Fighter here. So basically plus defense and really good at close combat. Mountain Men are armed with a pistol, or the ones that are armed with pistol and knife can re-roll their own hand-to-hand scores if they wish, but the second result applies. But basically, you get a re-roll in combat. So if you didn't roll so hot, might as well take the re-roll, see what happens, which really over time should result in you winning more than you lose. Or at least you'd like to think so. So the way the faction's broken down, we have to take the boss and 2 or more of the free trappers. We can take a bear man, and then up to 4 company men. Now this is another cool faction because they have it used to be a unique weapon, but we have a couple factions now that I think have access to muskets. So, well, let's jump in. Our boss is pistol and knife. He has the +1 to shoot, built-in +1 to hand-to-hand, which is great. He is going to be super nasty to encounter up close, especially with the faction special rules. The bear man is our elite shooter. Pistol knife, surprisingly here, and well, probably to keep things fair, does not himself have a built-in +1 for hand-to-hand, although that'd be pretty bonkers. Would have been cool to maybe see it swapped, like here, maybe like a +1 to shoot, or maybe not even a +1 to shoot, but just like a built-in +2 to combat. Would have been kind of neat. But anyway, another elite character there, 5 rep. The free trappers, again, we can just keep going with pistol knife, and honestly, kind of a fun variant of running the faction. Just everybody's going to be pistol and knife, and just you're going to be limited to close range fighting. But hey, it's not that much further to get into close combat, and that's what they do. You do have access to rifles though with them if you do want to bring that long range firepower, and rifles are of course great, super accurate. They have access to muskets, as does our regular company man, so a low level guy, the 1-pointers. But what they have uniquely is the buffalo rifle, unless something has changed. I think they were the faction that introduced that. So buffalo rifle basically hits like a truck, and whenever it causes damage, like regular damage, it also causes the nerve test result as well. So any kind of hit is either going to cause damage and a nerve test, or obviously if you roll high enough, you take somebody out. And really one of the longest range weapons, if not the longest in the game as well. And since it is your one of, here you might as well take it in most cases, and just have that super long range firepower. Now the muskets and the buffalo rifles, because of the way that they work, every time you shoot you're going to then have to reload, so it's not like you're going to get to get too many shots with them, but it is nice to have that. And again, the muskets also hit pretty hard, similar to the buffalo rifles, but obviously a reload after each shot, which again, a little disappointing that that's the only weapon the company men get. So they don't have any penalties to shooting like some of the low-level guys do in other factions. But weirdly enough, and because they don't have a knife or anything either, these guys don't have a bonus or anything, or just a 0 for hand-to-hand. They're actually at a -1. But the fact that they have the musket, really, these guys are going to sit back, try and plink away as best as they can. Take that aim, take your shot. Work on reloading, and then try again next turn, basically. But so the heavy lifting is really going to have to come from your top guys here. The boss certainly is going to have to do a lot of work. You definitely want to make sure he doesn't start taking too much unnecessary damage. The Bearman, again, that 5 rep is expensive, but he can also do a hell of a lot of good work. And then it's really just making sure that we play smart with our free trappers. And again, I'd say certainly sprinkling in a good mix of longer range shots, whether it's the rifle, the musket, or the buffalo rifle. You gotta try not to be one-dimensional. And again, those first 3 options there, the pistol knife options for the guys, really, again, gonna activate a lot of their great abilities here with close combat. So, getting into their special cards, then, the Hunter's Skills at the Jack level. Play this card after one of your characters has taken 3 move actions. They can take a single shot unmodified by movement. Really, really cool. And it doesn't necessarily care which weapon you have on this, by and large, but it is nice to be able to essentially move, and then still take a pistol shot or something, and where somebody might think, oh, they're not really going to be in range for that pistol shot. Here you could move up and pull that with this, and the fact that it's not modified by the movement either is fantastic, because otherwise you'd be staring down some solid negative modifiers. So that can be kind of a surprise gotcha, essentially. And it's fun when it works as well. So something the opponent might start considering pulling their or holding their jack to have a counter for you as well. One interesting note too: one of the few factions that does not have a shotgun, so keep that in mind as well. Moving on to the Queen, Indian Charm. Play this card immediately to allow one of your characters to re-roll 1 dice they've just rolled or has just affected them. So basically you could force the opponent to re-roll something against you, like ideally, hey, they're about to take out one of your characters because they rolled a 19 or 20, or just some other nasty thing, or really you need to get your re-roll. And super, super useful card. One that, once it is played for like a game-changing moment, that's something where the opponent might really want to hold back their queen to be able to counter it. Traps is a cool one as well. Play on an opposing character at any point during their move action. Their turn ends immediately. They lose any further actions. Roll a single unmodified dice on the shooting table, and apply the results to the affected character. So it's like they're walking in like a bear trap or something. The cool thing with this is you can at any point during their movement. So ideally you do it when their movement takes them out into the open, so that regardless of the other die roll, they're going to be stuck out in the open without cover. But then the fact that you can roll a single unmodified die on the shooting table and apply, so it's like a free shot, basically, just a straight up roll. So if you roll that lucky 1920, it's like boom, the trap killed them. So a fun thematic card as well. And then finally, some herbal remedies. Play this card to remove all under fire markers from a single character. So the faction that has essentially armor and is really good at fighting through close combat and things like that, has just a free heal character completely card. So this is particularly great if like your boss or bearman gets stuck in, or even some of the free trappers. They do have 4 hits, probably wasted on a company man, unless you really just want them alive. But yeah, the fact that the boss could be at like 1 health left and boom, back in the action fresh can be super frustrating for the opponent, especially if they've put in a lot of work to get damage on some of your high-end characters, and then boom, you just heal them. They don't have an ace to counter it, and you are ready for more mayhem. So 4 very useful, very thematic cards that these guys have. So one of the fun factions, we do have these guys ready to go. So we're going to hopefully bring these guys to you in a battle report here in 2025. Let us know, guys, if you enjoy the Mountain Men and how you worry or how you focus on kitting them out, and how your games have gone, where you've had your successes, and what factions you've struggled against, if any. Hit us up in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and like and subscribe, and we'll have more Dead Man's Hand very soon.